Hey, it's been a couple days. Took a little bit of a break over the weekend, but we are back with another Starbase Summary. Picking right up where we left off. That is Booster 14 on the pad after its static fire. A couple different angles there. This is actually looking across the truck loading area, or I guess truck unloading area, right? They don't produce anything except flames here. They bring in the cryopropellants and unload them at all of those stations you sort of see in the foreground. What is that piece of sap or bird poop or whatever that was on somebody's roof? Huh. I don't know what that was. Scroll back and look and tell me what that thing was. Here we have the transport stand. This, of course, is the booster transport stand. Nice, well-designed fixture that they can use to clamp boosters and move them to and from the launch pad. This looks like it's coming into the launch pad, question mark. And there's the dance floor. We actually call that the dance floor because folds up, flattens out, looks a little bit like a sand crawler, but we say that every time. And it creates this big work area. You can actually see the sort of the toe boards around the outside so you don't drop a tool, something rolls and hits somebody on the head. But that unfolds to flat and then lifts up on cables so that you can work on the bottom of the booster even though it's on the OLM. Very cool. Over at the Rocket Garden, see two flown boosters there. You can tell the top of them are a little sooty. Not really sooty, more colored? There's a word for that. There's a technical word for that. When the color of metal changes color because it's been heat treated, and I am blanking on it right now, but y'all are going to help me out. It's like chromata something. I mean, that's not a far cry because in color, chromata, whatever. Y'all let me know. It's like chromata tempering or something like that. I totally made that word up. There is the second launch mount. Work continuing over there. Haven't really seen manifold or piping on the near side here. A lot of piping with all of that coverage, the fabric, sort of plastic sheeting, whatever that is on the left-hand side. It's been a while since we've seen this. That's Pad B's flame deflector. Those two big curved assemblies of pipes that will help cool, I guess, the flame deflector there itself. It's like the tops haven't exactly been evened out. It almost looks like they're intentionally longer on the end and they go flat at the top. They are sort of clamped together. We looked at that, how they're aligned, the temporary sort of structures holding that all up, and then the scaffolding so they can work on it. Here today, Jack recording, there wasn't a terrible amount of work happening on them. But in any event, we look just about every day. That flag is standing straight out. Looks like somebody starched it almost. And the mural in the background. Going to look up to the top of the high bay. They have been slowly but surely cutting this to pieces and bringing it down with cranes. If you watch Starbase Live, you can see that happening basically 24/7. In the background there, if you sort of focus through the fence, you can see there was a barrel moving in. Not a lot of details on exactly which barrel that was, but we're still looking out for them. The temporary safety fences there, not a huge impediment to what's going on. The cool thing about those is that they will be moved. That's why they have forklift holes in the bottom. All the way back over to Masseys, that new test structure that they have been working on. What have we here? Those are big things with a hydraulic piston. That's not is that like a test rig? Because that wasn't entirely sure. It almost looked like it was connected to the frame at the top and the bottom there. Guys, y'all have me at such a disadvantage. You can scroll back. You can look at that again. I'm not allowed to. That's the purpose of the video here. The videos would be 100 minutes long if I was allowed to pause and scroll back and rewind and circle things and all that sort of stuff. In any event, y'all scroll back to, like, those were very interesting hydraulic structures in frames. But moving around, you saw really quickly there the gantry structure over at Pad B. Here's that wide shot that you can actually see a cryo truck backed in there in the foreground. Of course, I didn't see the trailer on it, so was it a cryo truck? Inquiring minds want to know. Again, the booster ended up hanging out on the pad a little bit longer than expected. There's the roundabout again. I know I mention this every time. There's a lot of comments on that. Some people actually sort of sharing dimensions of the roundabout. That truck driving by, the white truck that just drove by the roundabout, made it look a lot bigger than I had originally anticipated. Oh, look! Oh no! The dance of the sugar plum telehandlers there. Loaders, I don't think those are telehandlers. Moving all the temporary barriers out of the way so that the stand could be rolled. The boost thruster trim. Wow. Booster. The thrust simulator. Say that 10 times fast. In through there, and then they're going to bring all the temporary barriers and put them back. That looks... You could build a trailer out of that. I don't know how wide it is, but man, put a couple axles on that. Put a hitch or tongue or something on the front of it and go to town. This is what we were talking about, removing the parts of the high bay one piece at a time. A little bit of a spin there. It's such a tall lift, I guess, from the top of the high bay all the way down. You can't really have the taglines on it. Usually you'll have somebody holding those taglines to keep suspended loads from getting a spin like that. Little dangerous to let them spin like that. Must have been high winds or something, but what you gonna do? Some folks working on that massive traveling block. Here's work on the OLM, or just the LM, or the M. It's just the mount. I think I've talked about that before. Down the hatch. There you go. Some people think that I don't want to call it the orbital launch mount because, Starship hasn't gone to orbital. Like, that's not it. It's just that there's no suborbital launch mount anymore. They're just all launch mounts. So I'll repeat that again. Bears repeating. It's not a knock at Starship making it to orbit or not. All right, look at it. You can see the guide pins there retracting. Hatch is still open. Look at the booster. You can see the booster sort of start to swing free. Did you see that the guide pins came out, and then the booster, there was this big movement to the booster as it sort of came free, and then it's lifted out of the launch mount. That was a really cool shot, just showing how much this massive structure, the booster's a structure, how much the massive structure of the vehicle, the booster, moves. That's really cool. The Raptor logos, not great, not terrible. Like, I appreciate that they have logos on the engines now. Arrows or something would have been cooler. The Raptor logo is like, but like something like showing downward thrust, that looks like wings or piping on the Deluge pipes or flame deflector or something like that. Nobody. Do you need my commentary on what I think of that logo? Look at the beautiful colors on the left and right hand side. That is too cool. I'm a sucker for little details like that. Y'all know it. If you've watched these videos, you know every now and then I'm just like, oh, shiny. The squirrel all of a sudden, right? Ship 39 LOX Header Tank. Note the lack of quotes around that. Note the white piece of paper on there. Are we going to punch all the way in? Do we get to read what the paper says? Let's see. Are we going to go one step closer? Yes, closer. Yes, zoom in. So when we put a title down there, a lot of the times it's because we have noticed or captured something like that. There's a label on it. It says the work order. It says what it is. Contrast that with quotes that go around things sometimes. Or sometimes you just keep track of them like a massive shell game. See that? Okay. Potential test tank 17 in quotes. No label on that. So the order of things that are coming out of the factory, we're like, hey, if that thing is that point in its construction, that should, I guess, probably mean it's this, right? There's the thrust simulator going into Mega Bay 1. You can still see what's happening. You can sort of focus through. Don't look at the fence. Look past the fence. Imagine the operations occurring behind the fence. It's almost like it's not there, right? I asked Grok to look at some photos of the fence and tell me what was happening behind it. Apparently, they're burying tribbles. I don't even know. You're not going to have any clue what I'm talking about there. But Grok was definitely hallucinating what was on the other side of those slatted fences. It's funnier if you're in the Discord. Here's the booster rolling around. You saw that thrust simulator move in. And then booster 17 as the stars wheel in the background. Rolling past river. There's another shot. Wow, it's been a while since we've seen Murder Cam. Not only are they building, see the structures they're building there. This is a shot of Masseys that was our original shot with Masseys before we got together with our friends at Rocket Ranch and put the other better Masseys camera there at their outpost viewing location, right? In any event, you don't see a murder cam very often. Look at that thing. It's a potential Test Tank 17 section rolling out there. There you can see the booster out at Masseys, cranes, cell phone tower, thrust, or I guess test gantries, test structures. They're on the left-hand side. See what they get up to over there at Masseys. I'm going to guess cryo. Here's the booster 14-2. Again, I appreciate the comments, like down there if you're watching the video, and I talk about something, right? I'm like, I don't know, does it really need the -2? Has it earned the -2 or not? A lot of times I'm not trying to pass judgment on that. I'm just talking about it. Like I'm just wondering out loud and seeing what other people have to think about that sort of nomenclature, right? Like it's being prepared for the second flight. It hasn't done the second flight yet. Hey, look, it's CP-11, the little camera with the dish there in the foreground. But I'm saying what I think, right? I'm not reporting like, well, actually it should be this. Like everyone should say this or you're dumb. Like that would be really silly of me to do. Wow. What's this, like some sort of art shot there? It's delightfully shiny and reflective. I think that was like an image processing thing because we know the top of the booster, having been flown, is a little patinaed, right? It's got that chromatic temperification. I'll go look it up so next time in the video. You know, I've looked it up in the past, you know, like the exhaust of a Honda, the titanium blued tip of a Honda car, right? With the little aftermarket exhaust on it. I've looked it up and I found a couple different answers. Maybe that's why the neurons are not aligning to remember what that term was, because I was like, wait, it seems like there's 4 different things you could call this. But that you can kind of see it. And really, is that from the heat? Like, look at how the stringers sort of guide it. I guess the stringers were sort of blocking parts of it from getting directly exposed to the heat. And you got those little sort of patterns formed by the, I guess you could say it was the lee of the stringers there at the top. Interesting. But there it goes into the Mega Bay, leaving you with a little bit of a time-lapse shot. That's a really nice shot there at the end. Folks, it's a Starbase update. Sorry, it's not a Starbase update. It's a Starbase summary. Starbase updates come out on Mondays. That is our structured, sort of scripted, fact-filled videos that we put out. If you're looking for those, they come out every Monday. This is a Starbase summary where I just talk about what we see in the footage and invite you to talk with me down below. As always, appreciate y'all being here, and we will see you nerds later.